Run into Old Navy. Today's the last day to get 50% off all Old Navy active. All your favorite active leggings, hoodies, mesh tees, and more are 50% off. Hurry, it ends tonight at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 2/23 to 2/24, excludes in-store clearance.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Blog Talk Radio.
Do you ever stop to wonder if people really knew the truth about what was going on in the world, if they would be any different? Because quite frankly, normal abandoned me a long time ago. My name Dakota Frandsen. I am the specialist of the strange and fucked up. You'll never see the world the same way once you stick with me. Nothing is off limits. And you'll never know what world I'll be coming from for each episode. Listen in. And wait for your world to be changed forever.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, November 12th, 2018. I know I said I wasn't going to present myself again until this Friday. That show is still, but everything is still happening on schedule. I just decided to air this broadcast while the topic was still fresh in my mind. Considering it part of the Strange Truths series, because it'll hopefully help explain some of my stances when it comes to science and the occult. I was inspired to do this episode based on some information that the science communicator I follow presented in one of his episodes. His name is Kyle Hill on Because Science. You can check out his videos on YouTube. Mr. Hill, his only things weren't too different from mine. Trying to use science to explain off paranormal activity. And I've gone through some of his work. Early articles that he wrote on the subjects. And realized he made a point. And I felt that, because anyone who's known me long enough has known that I've always been a big science nerd, to where I even looked into opportunities to potentially go into space. However, being that I'm standing 6'7" and NASA apparently doesn't have that much of a big and tall, those opportunities got shot down. Just thinking, and this is honestly hasn't been a question I have received since I started, that if I am such a man of science, how can I believe in such things as the supernatural when mainstream science tries to shoot down and rather instead taking the approach that I know several people do, like saying, oh, they like to pretend they know everything. Oh, this, oh, that, blah, 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 blah. I want to actually sit down and actually discuss this. I understand it may be 2018, but I don't follow the notion to this argue until the other side gives up. Nothing actually gets accomplished from doing that. And you may wonder, how in the heck can something like ghosts, ESP, reincarnation, some might even try to throw in subjects like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, how in the heck can something like that exist? And some may wonder, how in the heck could I possibly try to explain that? Allergies. It is my personal stance that every claim has some sort of truth to it. And that doesn't just limit to the supernatural. Now, of course, truth might be that something got misconstrued along the way, like how unicorns are believed to actually have been a species of rhino that actually was just proven to have coexisted in times of human civilization through fossil records. Or it could be that someone utilized pop culture references to weave together their own story. Point is, it's always been my belief that there's truth to just about everything. It's just a matter of sorting through all the BS and sorting through all the misconceptions. And while I do try to listen to the scientific side or the skeptical side of the argument, and the people who actually sit down and present their ideas, they make very valid points. Like radiation sickness, or that's not the appropriate term, EMF sensitivity. It has been shown that, especially ever since the show Ghost Hunters came out, a lot more people tried to claim that whenever they're near cell phone towers or old power lines, the electromagnetic frequencies bother them. And while in some effect, what they feel might actually be psychosomatic, nevertheless, it's actually been proven that it doesn't necessarily affect us in the ways that people assume. Radiation can easily cause plants to not grow as well, and unfortunately cause malicious tumors to develop in our systems. There are some negative byproducts as far as lightheadedness, nausea, things like that. There's nothing to really back it. Some of you may even know that I was involved in creation of the documentary titled Bill Nye Science Guy. And Bill has stated publicly on quite a few situations where ghosts are highly unlikely. It could be situations where allegedly haunted locations are either contaminated with severe amounts of black mold, which does have hallucinogenic properties if spores are inhaled, or that it's also been noted that a lot of the times if people aren't told that a location is haunted, most of the time, they won't experience anything that they would attribute to the occult. Even if this is the case, even if science is able to just write off everything, why is it that people continue to hold on to these beliefs? Why is it that claims of extraterrestrials, Bigfoot, or Loch Ness continue to happen? Like I said, there's truth in just about everything out there. And when it comes to Loch Ness, it comes to Bigfoot. There is enough data out there to say they are potentially real biological creatures. The term monster is merely a marketing tool. If we say the Loch Ness Monster, ooh, that's going to get people excited. Or monster in the hills, rather gigantic ape man. But another point that's commonly I'm losing my footing here. One idea, one problem that skeptics often use in such claims is, why aren't there more pictures? Why is it that every photo of a ghost or Bigfoot or Loch Nessie seems to be a terrible quality? And another one, when it comes to more Nessie and Bigfoot, Yeti, and all of those, why aren't there any bodies? That's another thing. I have heard some claim that Bigfoot actually buries their dead. Because for how long sightings have occurred, to even believe that Teddy Roosevelt may have shot at Bigfoot at one point when he was camping in an area not too far from here in Idaho, actually. And as for Loch Ness, I've personally been out there and I made tabloids back in March on my own Nessie sighting. The water there, not necessarily polluted, but the minerals make it very hard to see when you're underwater. In fact, some sonar systems even have trouble going through the water because it is so thick. Even on the clearest of day, which I was lucky to have while I was there, the weather was so nice that the locals said that it was actually kind of concerning. Our tour guide said, "Oh, this is not real Scottish weather. It's usually dark and gloomy and rainy and depressing. I hope we get a little bit of rain for you and see actual what it's really like here in Scotland." But even with such a large creature, under the most ideal of circumstances, you couldn't really see anything on the clearest of day unless it was just right at the surface, barely under the surface. As for why no Nessie bodies have been reported, hard to say, really. Could it be that, like cats, some domesticated animals, they tend to hide when they start to feel uneasy, like they feel as if their time may be running out. Wherever they're hiding, the body just doesn't surface. It'll be interesting because I do know that there is a genetic research project going on with Loch Ness that is collecting water samples from across the body of water, and it's going to run them through a DNA sequencer to see if they can find any DNA samples that don't belong to any known creature that's in that water. And I mean, you have fish, you have seals that are in the area. Some Nessie photos have been quote-unquote debunked as just a herd of seals. playing around. Nevertheless, it'll be interesting to see what that turns up. As far as ghosts, a lot of people wonder, why is it that all these haunted places allegedly have ghosts from 200, 300, 400 years ago? Is there like some sort of waiting period to become a ghost, or why is it that they're always in like a white dress or situations like that? Well, first off, it's generally real hauntings don't always have people from 1800s, 1700s. People just usually go with that time frame because record keeping isn't exactly as tightly knit as it is nowadays, so it would be much harder to disprove any of the claims. It has been often reported that quote-unquote hauntings can start just moments after someone passes away, depending on the circumstance. Now, as for all these videos and photos that pop up, I believe, and I put my own stuff on there. Yes, it is easy to fabricate. Unless you were personally there to see how, quote-unquote, evidence was collected, you can't say for sure whether or not it is fake because of how well done a lot of these special effects softwares and audio engineers are able to process this information. Well, I'll admit, I even purposely fabricated a few images just to see if anybody would try to disprove it. And just say, oh, that's, No. I mean, actually take the time to analyze it, give their opinion on why it could be fake. Because I'll admit, a lot of people that try to claim supernatural events are taking place, a lot of people that come to me questioning these types of things or try to ask me about maybe shadows running around in their homes, things like that. They don't exactly present themselves as intellectuals, to put it mildly. And if someone presents themselves to me like that, I usually start to discredit them right away. But still, being that I was not there to personally witness things, I can't say for sure what's going on. I can then go in, do the usual run around, set up camera and gear, all that, look up the history on the house, all 9 yards, and find nothing. Or maybe I do find something that corroborates the story. It's hard to say. I've had situations where that happens as well. Nevertheless, I found it often difficult to get a genuine conversation going about these things. There are a lot of shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, being that they've become a part of the popular culture, that tends to influence some of the thoughts of the general public. And personally, I love watching those shows. I'll admit, there was a time I didn't believe in any of this stuff. I just thought they were cool stories. Until I had my own experience. And I started digging into it, started doing the research. And there's enough here to say that there's something going on. It might not be what people expect. I might be disproven on some of the ideas I've put out. I'll admit that. I'm not always going to be right. I'm only human. But there's too much here to say that it doesn't at least deserve some sort of research. And a lot of the science communicators like myself, they were often inspired, by Bill Nye or Carl Sagan. Even though they're quick to deny supernatural claims. I find it funny that the man we all look up to in general has been open to the idea that something like Loch Ness, something how the creature from the age of the dinosaurs could still be running around. A quote that is often tossed around in spirit science pages, circles on social media, a quote by Carl Sagan saying that reincarnation deserves some serious research. And before I did this broadcast, I wanted to do some research of my own to see if it was legitimately from him. Believe it or not, it actually is. It's from his book titled The Demon-Haunted World, in a chapter that he titles The Marriage of Skepticism and Wonder. There's a passage, I'm going to go through about half of it, that goes into detail of Mr. Sagan's perspective on these things. He says that perhaps 1% of the time, someone who has an idea that smells, feels, and looks indistinguishable from the usual run of pseudoscience will turn out to be right. Maybe some undiscovered reptile left over from the Cretaceous period will indeed be found in the Loch Ness or the Congo Republic. Or we will find artifacts of an advanced, non-human species elsewhere in the solar system. At the time of writing, there are 3 claims in ESP field which, in my opinion, deserve serious study. Number 1, that by thought alone humans can barely affect random number generators in computers. Number 2, that people under mild sensory deprivation can receive thoughts or images projected at them. And 3, that young children sometimes report the details of a previous life, which upon checking turn out to be accurate, and they could have not known about it in any other way than reincarnation. I pick these claims not because I think they're likely to be valid. I don't. But as examples of contentions that might be true. The last 3 have at least some, although some dubious, experimental support. Even Carl Sagan, in my probably horrible impersonation of him, was open to the idea that supernatural was real. And a lot of times, people don't realize that mainstream scientists are taught to take the approach that something doesn't exist until evidence can back it up. While those of us in the paranormal field tend to take claims that they are in fact real, but then the evidence slowly works it down where they're not. Perhaps there's some sort of meeting point that we can have in both fields. And that's been my approach to this entire thing. I was inspired to believing in such ideas based on the ideas of the Divine Matrix, which was made popular by Greg Braden. You can find his books on Amazon. If you haven't already, I do encourage you to read them. He does present some interesting ideas that honestly will have to end up as future episodes in this mini-series. But I'm running out of time in order to just talk about them tonight. Point all this. Why do I take the time to explain my stance on this? Well, it's simple. The point I'm trying to relay is that the world is strange. the entire cosmos is strange. There's so much we have not learned, and while these claims still happen, you have to wonder, even the most skeptical of scientists will have to admit that there might just be something here. As for why UFOs aren't seen incoming as they're traveling at light speed, perhaps they have found a way to use wormholes. And as such, we're not seeing them coming because they have figured out how to simply just jump from the point they're leaving to arriving just above the surface of the atmosphere. And if they're able to move as fast as they are, not a lot of our technology can register those type of movements. Or at least nothing that's available to the general public. Conspiracy theories say that we've had that technology to create UFO-like machinery for years, at least since the 60s. What can I say? I don't know. I wasn't there. But it's definitely an interesting prospect. And what I try to encourage people to do is to not only explore, see for themselves if the claims are true, but to stay at least somewhat open-minded to the possibility of the unknown. Truthfully, we don't know what all is out there. As for ghosts, I personally believe that something involving the quantum field of the universe may have something to do with their creation. But like I said, these ideas are better off for future episodes. Then I'll just simply trying to disprove everything, sitting on the couch and not actually taking the time to do the research. Go out, explore. Because what is available on the internet is only what has already been found. And your chances of discovering something completely new are next to none simply sitting on your couch, playing on your phone. That's all I have to say. For those of you who listen to this broadcast on Anchor, this will be paired with Friday night's broadcast as well. Stay tuned because we're going to have a shift in gears. We're going to start presenting new music, a new opening theme, and so much more. I hope to catch you next time. Tune in this Friday for a special episode of Strange Safety titled, That Ain't Santa Sneaking In. Listen in. I hope that you all have a safe holiday season, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.
Till the tears run down from my eyes, Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me? Somebody to love.
Alexa, play hits from Queen.
Okay.
Somebody to love.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Point out the colors of you, I see them too, and boy, I like them. I like them, I like them. We way too fly to partake in all this hate. We out here vibing, we vibing, we vibing.
Alexa, play Ariana Grande. Okay.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Run into Old Navy. Today's the last day to get 50% off all Old Navy Active. All your favorite active leggings, hoodies, mesh tees, and more are 50% off. Hurry, it ends tonight at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 2/23 to 2/24, excludes in-store clearance. Run into Old Navy. Today's the last day to get 50% off all Old Navy Active. All your favorite active leggings, hoodies, mesh tees, and more are 50% off. Hurry, it ends tonight at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 2/23 to 2/24, excludes in-store clearance.